Hello, everyone, and I thought we'd do a short Jeff Banks video on how to estimate a bank's unsecured deposits. It's obviously a hot button topic right now, and many high-profile bank depositors are asking the question, and it's a little known schedule in the bank's call report, which they report to the FDIC quarterly, and I'd like to go over it briefly with you to show you how to determine an estimate of the bank's unsecured deposits. I say estimate because it's difficult from the reporting to actually ascertain the exact number of it, but you can get an approximation. So, for example, deposits that are collateralized and secured, that won't show right here, but you'll get an estimate of what the bank's unsecured deposit is. So the first thing I would do is go to the FDIC Bank Find Suite, and you could see the URL for that right here, but you could just simply Google it, and then you end up, here's the URL right here. You could simply Google it, and then go to Run Financial Reports by Institution. I'm going to use an institution that has been acquired, but at 12/31/22, it was still in existence. Go to the bank name and certification. Type by bank name, unless you happen to know the certification number. Very few people do, including me. And we'll do Umpqua Bank. That bank merged with Columbia in Washington State in the first quarter, but its 12/31 call report would still be here. And you could see that if you search on Umpqua Bank, there it is. So click on Umpqua Bank, and then we're going to run the last FFIEC call report of Umpqua Bank. I might get an error because this bank is no longer covered, but I know how to get, if you get this error as it is shown here, I could just simply download the PDF, and the PDF will show. And you could see that here is the entire Umpqua Bank call report. And there are various schedules for every bank's call report. The first thing we're going to look at is schedule RCC, or just RC right here. RC is the balance sheet. In order to get the balance sheet, this is how we're going to get the total deposits. So if you look at the schedule RC for Umpqua Bank, and you could see that on row 13, you could see the deposits represented as non-interest bearing and interest bearing. You have to add those two together. They also give you in 13A all of the domestic office deposits. So this will be their total deposit number if they have no international deposits. But to be sure, you could simply add row 13A1 and rate A2 to get the total deposit number, and we'll show that in a minute. Scroll down to this obscure schedule called RCO, O as in Oscar, which is other data for deposit insurance and FICO assessments. On this schedule, you'll see interesting things that'll help you get to the calculation that you're looking for. So you see down in 1A, in this part of the report right here, this is where we're focusing on. It'll say deposit accounts. And in 1B, 1 and 2, these are important numbers. So you see 13,447,211, 13 billion, I'm sorry, 447,211 is the dollar amount, the amount of deposit accounts of more than $250,000. And the number of deposit accounts in 13 or in 1B2, the number of deposit accounts is 15,406. This is a very important number because in this $13.4 million number, it includes the $250,000 of FDIC insured amount in addition to anything over that. So if one person has an account for $250,000 and $1, $250,000 and $1, the whole $250,000 and $1 will be in this $13.4 million number. It'll be one account for $250,000, $1, but 250,000 of it's insured. Likewise, you scroll down to the next page of this report, and you'll see in retirement accounts of more than 250,000, we have 24 million in 73 accounts. So let's take this to the spreadsheet to look at Umpqua Bank. From their Schedule RCC, you see the deposit amounts to $27.2 billion at 12/31/22. And then in Schedule RCO, you'll see line 1B1 and 1B2, that $13.4 billion of amounts in accounts greater than 250,000. And here's the number of those accounts, 15,406 accounts. Then you go to 1D1. These are the retirement accounts more than 250,000. There's 24 million in 73 accounts. Now, what you have to do, though, is if you go to amount in unsecured deposits, excluding retirement accounts, up to 250,000, we have to take this 1B2 number, this number right here, and multiply that by 250,000 to figure out how much of this 13.4 million is actually insured. And in Umpqua's case at 12/31, it was about $3.9 billion was actually insured. And then we do the same for the retirement accounts that are actually insured, which is 1D2, the number of accounts, times 250,000 to figure out that 18 of the 24 million is actually insured. So therefore, the estimated unsecured deposits is $9.6 billion. You divide that by the total deposits of 27.2 billion, and we have an approximate amount of 35.3% of Umpqua's total deposits at 12/31/22 is estimated to be unsecured or over the FDIC insurance limit of $250,000 per account. It's not an exact science, it's an approximate one. We don't know how much of those deposits are, say, municipal deposits that have securities pledged against them, but this gives you a rough estimate of the amount of unsecured deposits in an FDIC insurance account. Now, if you go to the Umpqua line, you'll see that there's actually a line item here that says 10.6 billion are actually unsecured. This is not required to be reported in financial institutions with less than $1 billion in total assets. So this will either be a zero or a not reported number in those. But I think the calculation that we went through in the spreadsheet is a more reflective assessment of the level of unsecured deposits to total deposits. Hope this helps you, and talk to you soon.